going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Now, coming up on today's show, I want to deep dive into two UDFAs that have been balling out during training camp. And if I had to call it right now, these two are a lock to make the final 53-man roster for the Minnesota Vikings, that being Dwight McGlothern and Zemaiah Vaughn. I want to get this out here very quick because a lot of people were still, making comments. Why didn't the Vikings go out and sign an Asante Samuel, a Rasul Douglas? Why didn't we spend one of our few and only draft picks on a cornerback? I think it's as simple as this. Brian Flores has faith in the cornerback room. He's got faith in Isaiah Rodgers. He trusts in a guy like Jeff Okudah. And also, I think Flores, he saw what Dwight McGlothern did last year during preseason. He probably saw what Zemaiah Vaughn was putting on tape at Utah. I bet you he's got full faith in this unit for the Vikes. But let me ask you guys this. Weigh in for me here real quickly, then we'll dive into both these guys. What is your confidence level in the Vikings cornerback room? I would probably say the weakest position group on the roster. What's your confidence in it? Scale it for me 1 to 10 down below. If I had to, I'd probably go 6.5 or 7. If you guys disagree or agree, comment your thoughts down below. All right, so we're going to start off here with a nudie, Dwight McGlothern. What a nickname that is. Now, he was one of the two UDFAs to make the Vikings roster in 2024 with Gabe Murphy, who, we'll probably do a future show on Gabe Murphy. He could be a hidden gem for this team as well. But while we're talking about Dwight McGlothern, we're actually going to start with going back to last preseason. Do not forget, Dwight McGlothern was one of the biggest winners from training camp and the preseason last year. If you guys remember, we had that joint practice versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, a lot of the main storylines was when Jordan Addison had to get carted off, and that was a week after J.J. McCarthy tore his meniscus. Addison went down. It was like the ceiling was falling on top of us. But a hidden storyline there was Dwight McGlothern was playing some really good football. He was going against some good wide receivers on the Browns, and he was making plays. But that has also continued this year. Will Ricketts, who's been at Vikings training camp, saying this on Dwight McGlothern: he just keeps making plays. After he had an interception on Monday and broke up a pass that created another pick, the second-year cornerback jumped a route and picked off Sam Howell on Tuesday. There are a lot of guys competing for roster spots in the Vikings cornerback room, but it feels like Nudie is going to be on the 53. I agree with that. I think he will be on the final 53-man roster, but also in the preseason last year, this guy was playing fantastic football. Like, these PFF grades are ridiculous. Now, obviously, in a very limited sample size, it's preseason. You're rotating guys in and out, so he only had 80 snaps, but his overall PFF grade was 88.4. Run defense, 85. Coverage grade, 87.3. If he would have replicated this throughout a whole NFL season, these are all pro numbers. Now, again, it's preseason. He was going against a lot of, third stringers, fourth stringers, practice squad guys. So can he maintain that production going against higher competition and getting a higher snap rate? That'll be the question with him. But kind of a quick scouting report here on McGlothern. He's got great length. He's got a super long wingspan. He's got solid press man ability, which obviously Brian Flores loves. Now, what are the reasons why he won't get on the football field, I think, as much as we would like this upcoming year? He's not that good of a tackler. And he doesn't really seem, at least on his college tape, he didn't really seem willing to go tackle and be good in the run support. And he's not the quickest, twitchy athlete out there. And also, when he is in press man, he's got to get hands on wide receivers. Because if he gets beat, it will be a big-time play. But if he does get hands on you, he shows on tape to be one of the better cornerbacks, at least back at college at Arkansas. Hopefully that translates to the NFL. But I'll ask you guys this. Will Dwight McGlothern make the 53-man roster for the Minnesota Vikings? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below. Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. I'm going to go yes. I think he will. I think it also has to also do with there's really not a lot of other guys. Vikings got about 5 to 6 solid cornerbacks. But besides that, not a lot of depth on that practice squad. So I think he'll end up making it. But if you guys disagree, let me know down below. Now, coming up next year on the show, other UDFA at the cornerback position, but from this year's UDFA class, Zemaiah Vaughn out of Utah. We'll do a full deep dive on him, get you guys everything you need to know. But before we do so, I do want to tell you guys about a new product we have here at Vikings Now by Chat Sports. That is Factor Form. Now, start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form at factor75.com/VikingsChat. And you guys will get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. I've tried green supplements in the past, was never the biggest fan of them. until I pivoted and tried Factor Form's daily greens. Now, most of us dread drinking greens, but Factor Form changed the game. You'll actually crave your greens. As a sister brand of Factor Meals, Factor Form was designed to work hand in hand with your meals, making better nutrition effortless. Daily Greens is a greens powder by Factor Form. You look forward to drinking. Just one scoop delivers 100% of your daily nutrients, filling nutrient gaps, supporting whole body health, and helping you feel your best. It's got a refreshing, citrusy, clean, and smooth taste. It's actually enjoyable to drink, and all you have to do is mix a single serve pack in water, and you're good to go. My favorite part, in a blind taste test, it ranked number 1 in taste, texture, and aroma, beating out the biggest names in the industry. So if you guys want to start your day right with Daily Greens by Factor Form, head to factor75.com/VikingsChat to get 40% off plus free shipping on your first order. That's factor75.com/VikingsChat for 40% off plus free shipping. Hit that link in the comment section and description of today's show, factor75.com/VikingsChat. All right, let's talk some Zemaiah Vaughn here. It's a great feeling knowing that every single year that UDFA class comes out for the Minnesota Vikings, and you can get excited about a couple of these guys because it was Ivan Pace the year before, or 2 years ago. Then it was Dwight McGlothern and Gabe Murphy. And now this year, it's looking like Zemaiah Vaughn's going to be that guy. So he was a UDFA in the 2025 draft. He played his college football at Utah. Now he is a big corner from Texas, 6'2", 187 pounds. He's also a freak athlete. His actually RAS score as a whole was 8.45, but specifically the 40-yard dash was 4.45 seconds. So he's big, he's an athlete, he's got good instincts, and he's already turning heads at training camp. But this is actually what Alec Lewis had to say dating back to OTAs and minicamp, talking about Zemaiah Vaughn, saying not going to make too much out of OTAs and minicamp, but one guy who keeps flashing to me is Utah undrafted corner Zemaiah Vaughn. Just always around the ball, never seems to be out of place. And that is translated to Vikings training camp, which is great because you kind of go through the process as a UDFA. All right, let's see if you're good at OTAs and minicamp. Let's see if you're good at training camp. Then we'll throw you out there for the preseason, and hopefully it translates eventually to regular season ball for this Vikings secondary. But he is also a Brian Flores guy, like a big, tall, kind of instinctual corner who's also extremely fast. Like that is a Flores-esque corner. But also, Will Gretz was saying this on Zemaiah Vaughn, saying he isn't necessarily the most agile or fluid athlete, which hinders him in man coverage, but there's a lot to like about his fit in a Brian Flores defense, and especially in terms of how he could be used as a zone corner. That's probably the best way for his straight line speed, length, and playmaking ability to be utilized. Vaughn was constantly around the football in spring practices, open to the media, which was an encouraging sign. He's someone to watch in training camp as he potentially pushes for a roster spot in a wide open cornerback room. And after training camp, again, it's early. We still got to see preseason games get played out there. I would probably say he's a lock to make this team, though. And I think the Vikings will end up keeping 6 corners. This is who I have making the team at the cornerback position. Byron Murphy, Isaiah Rodgers, Jeff Okudah, and Mekhi Blackman. I think all those guys are locks. And then I think one of either Dwight McGlothern and Zemaiah Vaughn are a for sure lock. Now, the guy we had missing it was Reddy Stewart. Just hasn't really shown too much at training camp. But I think in terms of him being a lock or not, it just depends if the Vikings are keeping 5 or 6 cornerbacks. Because if they're keeping 5, then the battle becomes 2 UDFAs we're talking about, Dwight McGlothern or Zemaiah Vaughn. But if they keep both of them, or if they keep 6, then both those guys are going to end up making the team. So, very encouraging sign out of this secondary. We obviously knew the cornerback group was a, massive red flag heading into training camp just because, Rodgers, Okudah, Blackman, even these 2 UDFAs were, pretty much unknowns outside of Byron Murphy. So it's great to see that they're playing well, and they're also getting great competition. It's not like they're going against a weak wide receiver room. And it's always so funny, especially with these training camp highlights where, if you're like looking at like bad teams and all that, it's like take like a Browns corner, for example. It's like, oh, he's showing out at Browns camp. Who is he playing against? He's playing against other Cleveland Browns. But at least we know with these UDFAs, they're getting great looks from Ty Felton, Naylor, Jordan Addison. So it's all signs are looking positive for those 2 guys. But Let me end today's show with this. I like this question. Name a random Vikings player down below in the comments section. I think it fits since we're talking about UDFAs here. Get creative for this one. We're talking random, not talking the APs, not talking the Mosses, the Jeffersons. Get weird for me and name a random Vikings player. But we appreciate all of you guys watching. As always, Skol Vikes.